Welcome to the Harjit and Prayer show with your host, Harjit and Prayer.
What's up?
Hey, Prayer, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you, dude?
Good, another week.
Yippee.
Yeah, I like your blinky lights at the back there.
Yeah. I don't know how long ago, but I was making these. I was taking mason jars and filling them with
Yeah.
just like the fairy solar powered fairy lights, they're called.
Uh-huh.
And this particular strand was one of the experimental strands.
I
And
see.
when we moved, my wife found it and she just wrapped it around our back deck just to kind of
Okay.
give it. And it just blinks at night when the battery's running low, and I just leave it on. It's funny, like 10 hours later, I get up when I go out to go to the gym around 4 or 5 in the morning, it's still blinking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and it's a tiny battery, so it just shows you how little electricity that LEDs
It
draw.
uses, yeah, yeah, wow.
Yep,
That's amazing. So what's the weather
it's
like
pretty.
there?
What's that?
What's your weather like?
Oh, it was actually cold today. It was like in the low 70s. No, for real. It was like cold. It was like in the 70s, low.
That's cold. Okay.
Yeah, no, like it was kind of shocking. Like when you were so used to it to being warmer, you walk outside. I'm not to say it wasn't cold, but it was cooler than usual. And I was like, whoa, it's actually kind of cool outside. My daughter actually ran back in to get a sweatshirt because she was
No
cold.
way.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was pretty funny. I'm like, oh my
And it's the
gosh.
opposite here. We're around 50 and we're out there in like basically no coats, just t-shirts.
Oh man, that's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, it's like, practically everything's melted now, and.
Cool.
So I heard there's a storm coming up this weekend too. A
Oh
nor'easter.
man,
Yeah.
that
So
sucks.
that's
I don't miss that any bit.
anyways.
Anyway.
Yeah, and then I'm heading to Seattle on Saturday, and I'm trying to figure out what your temperature's up, over there, and they're saying somewhere around 50 or something like that. That's your high. So
Oh wow,
with
that's cold.
rain, yeah. So
Yeah, so it's like Seattle is known for its rain all the time and
rains all the time. But it doesn't rain
overcast.
like a lot. It'll rain like few minutes, then stops.
Okay.
Then a little while later, a little bit more, then stops. Like it keeps doing that all day long.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and you
have a
know what's
friend.
really cool? Like places like in Redmond and stuff, when you go to like some of the outdoor shops and stuff, they'll
Hmm.
have these bins with umbrellas outside. So you can just grab an umbrella if it rains and then go wherever you need to go and then drop it off at another bin. So,
That's funny.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. One of my friends like lives in Seattle. He works there, and all his pictures are beautiful, like blue skies, clouds, and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's. He's like, yeah. I mean, like certain times of the year, it's just like really depressing because you don't see everything is dead and the skies are gray. But when
Right.
it's nice, it's amazing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
sure,
So yeah, it'll be cool, man. I'm excited. I've
it'll
been
be
I've been
fun.
there
Yeah.
so many times. It's not about the city. It's about all these MVPs and people that I know and stuff like that. So
Yeah. So why don't you tell people what you're allowed to say? I mean, obviously, there's some stuff you can't say,
it's
but
NDA, dude. Pretty
not
much
the whole. You're going to the MVP summit.
yeah, because
Yes.
and you right.
And you get to meet with the product engineers of the product that you work on. You
Yes.
can't talk about what you talk about, but you get to give feedback
To the
on,
product teams, yes. And
yes.
vice
So
versa.
that's what I'm
Yes.
talking about. Like,
Right, right.
obviously, you can't say, oh, they're changing the name of Windows to Doors. So,
Right.
or whatever. So,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of folks that I know that go to that, absolutely, they're like, that's the highlight of their, you're going to that, going to the summit and then talking to their respective product teams and actually seeing their recommendations come into the final thing. I'm like, man, that's really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun, and also they have like on different days they have special meetings with the like a mixer or social event with the product teams itself, so you can get to know them really well, and then have a one-on-one conversations and stuff. So I think there are about 2,000 MVPs that are going to be going.
Oh wow.
And from what
Sure.
I read today, there was a blog post today. There are about 600 new MVPs going for the first time.
Cool.
So that's a big number right there.
Yeah. That'll be fun. I wonder if that creepy quantum computer will be there
The one
running the whole
beside
thing.
Ignite.
Yeah, that was too creepy, dude. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So anyway,
Oh my God! So what's new
so
today, man? There was some chatter today about Teams.
yep. So everybody, from the moment Teams came out, everybody's like, well, what about folks that aren't in my tenant? Like,
Yeah,
what happens? And slowly they brought little pieces in, to allow guest access, but they're really opening it up this time. So if you even have like a Gmail account, you can give a user access to your team
yeah,
that way, which is
Gmail,
awesome.
Hotmail, and
Yeah.
things like that. That's what they were saying. Um,
So
yeah, we have the web. I mean the blog post. Just
yeah,
wrote.
it's titled "True Guest Access Comes to Microsoft Teams."
Yeah, yeah, and I think this is great.
hmm
Um, so
I'm
it's
really confused because the date of the article is March 1st. Did you see that?
eh,
Right at the top.
yeah, you're right.
So see, it's the weird quantum computer doing things in the future.
It
See?
predicted. It
Yep.
predicted this blog post was going to go out tomorrow.
Yeah, and somehow we're seeing it now.
Well, you know
Anyway,
what? Wait. No, no, no. It is correct. You know why?
is it
It's
in
New
Europe?
Zealand. It's a
Oh, okay.
New Zealand blog post. So they're already like the next day already.
They're already in the future. Got it. Oh, that makes so much sense.
There we
But
go. Phew.
it's a great article. If you're into Teams, it's really short, but it just gives you a really quick overview
Yep.
of what they're putting into place. So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, we'll share the link in our video in the bottom. Yeah.
Yep.
And so yeah, so that's neat. That's so I've started dabbling a little bit with Teams. Even before this came out, and um, one is because I have my O365 with the MVP and stuff, and so I enabled it, and and then Steve Hosking wanted to collaborate with me on some autopilot stuff, and he's like, "Hey, I'll add you to my tenant or whatever," and so he did, and so I'm like a guest on his teams,
Mhm.
and uh, and so on and so forth. And then I have another, I'm doing some consulting stuff on the side. So they got me into Diaz too, but that one is like a full blown account, right? I gotta log in with their company's credentials. But what I find is, I'm not sure whether you run into this, but it's great on the web. When you're using Teams on the web, it's fantastic. Where you can do all sorts of things, and you can pull down and say, I want to join, I want to be, into that other tenant that I was invited to, and things like that. But not so much on mobile. It's, you got to log in with whatever credentials and whatever teams you want to be on, right?
Right. hmm
I hope I'm using the right terminology, but yeah. So
Yeah, it's version like not even 2 of the client, right? So I'm sure
yeah,
eventually you'll be able to log into multiple tenants and all that kind of stuff. We'll see what
yeah.
happens with it. But yeah,
So
it'll
that's
be
that.
so. And the one thing it's they in that article they're really kind of focusing on the education side of
hmm
Teams. So that's one thing that I'm not clear on. Is this going to be for only education customers or business as well? So that's one thing I guess we'll have to follow up on.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean. Well, I think what it is that because a lot of schools like K to 12s are using the Google Suites,
hmm
right? And that's something that they mention here where teachers and stuff, you can invite teachers from other schools that are using the whole Google Suite stuff and just bring them into your one Teams for collaboration. And
Cool.
then for everybody else, I mean, if you just want like you know any other person that's just a regular person that just wants to who has a Hotmail or Gmail or whatever, and you can do that too.
Yep.
So
Nice.
I guess it's got both the whole enterprise and the consumer kind of a kind of a take on this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's good. Yeah. So what else? You want to talk about something else that's coming up on March 14th, right?
Yep, there's a security summit that Microsoft is hosting online. It's a virtual event. It has an agenda for the day, and so it's free. And so if you want to just learn about some of the security processes and best practices, and hear from different people and how they're implementing security with different products, that's a good thing to check out. Especially if you're going to be if everybody's focused on security as of late with all these you just pick the thing that's happening, whether it's some kind of crypto locker deal or the latest issues with Spectre and Meltdown. I think
Yeah.
it's good to have as much information as you can. It's a virtual summit, so you can be at work just kind of listening to it in the background, just picking up tidbits here and there. So encourage you to check that out. It's free, for goodness sakes.
Really nice. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll check it out too, because that'll be the one week I'm back and from the summit and yeah. So that's cool. We'll put the link out as well.
Mm-hmm.
And what else is going on? So hey, we got another Windows 10 build.
Yikes.
I think one
Holy
after
cow.
4 days after the one release before. So.
That's funny. Oh my goodness.
And I think it's 17110 or something like that for the insider build. And there was a little issue though with it. So I noticed, when I installed it, and I had a gap in my taskbar where my, icons are. And I'm like, well, what's this gap here? Why, some app just disappeared or whatever, right? So I hover over it, and it's actually the Microsoft Store app that's gone missing.
Oh, weird.
So I sent in the feedback and stuff like that, and then today I was, in my RSS feeds, and here I'm seeing, news articles and stuff with a lot of reports about the the Store app being missing.
That's so weird. How on earth would that
I
be
don't know, but
forgotten?
then
Weird.
there was another. I came across another article. I plan to blog about this, hopefully tomorrow. To restore it back, you can do a little PowerShell magic with the get appx package
Okay.
commandlets and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a little bug.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
noticed it.
that's
I noticed it right away. I was like, wait, why is that a gap here? What went away? And you normally see that sometimes with like I don't know, the certain times when you're installing an update to a config manager, the console, right? And then if you have it pinned to your taskbar after they upgrade the pinned icon kind of like doesn't have an icon. It's just a white little thing, and then you gotta like
Yep.
remove it, add it back. So I'm like, oh, maybe that's what it is. So
Interesting.
yeah, it's interesting. And in this build, they also talked about, or they mentioned about some scripts that they're gonna allow to run for deployments. Did you read about that?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I don't care about the Windows client anymore. My job is sorely focused on the server side, so I literally don't pay attention to it anymore.
Okay.
I'm happy about it because it is developing so fast. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I can't believe it.
Well, I have to pay attention to this stuff because I also build the images and stuff for our end users, right? So I have to know, like, okay, what is working, what is not working, and things like that. And
Sure.
and it's fun too. I mean, to play around with it. I also teach some classes in my town for the community. It's just like freebies, right? at the local library, and I could have anywhere from 5 to 20 people that would show up, and so I'm just teaching them how to use Windows 10 as a consumer, how to set up their desktop and where the little all the things hidden and stuff like that, and so they like that kind of thing. But it changes all the
Nice.
time. So every time I'm trying to teach this, I'm like, oh wait, it used to be here. Hold on. Okay, yeah, right.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I really like, my wife has a MacBook Air, and whenever the thing updates, she does what she needs to do.
Yeah.
And my work laptop is Windows 10 Enterprise, and again, it's managed by the university, and so
Yeah.
I get updates on it, and they really vet them out really well. Nothing, my desktop and apps are always functional after a major upgrade, like from spring to the fall creators and all that kind of stuff. I can't imagine what it's like for the consumer with
Yeah.
Windows 10 Home and going through these steps. Like I think I would go mad, because like if you, for example, you get rid of one of the default Windows Store apps and stuff like that. Like when my friends were saying in the beginning, like,
Oh,
dude, this thing
yeah.
keeps coming back. Like
Yeah.
I installed it, I didn't want it anymore, and I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. And I hope that's one of the things that I don't know if they have worked it out, but like when you remove Twitter and Candy Crush, it shouldn't come back after a major.
I think that is fixed. That used to be the
Good.
problem before.
Hmm.
And then whenever you did an update to the builds, it would come back. But that was one of the complaints that a lot of IT pros had given feedback about. So they fixed it.
Good. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Because that's just really super
Yeah,
annoying.
I just feel like, we know this stuff, in and out because we use it all the time, and we are much more deeper into it. And then when you find your spouse and stuff, struggling with like, why is this popping up, and why is that, and I can't print or whatever, or. So that's when I feel like, well, maybe others are having the same issue. And also, like, the stigma about, oh, it's totally different, I'm too scared, I don't want, I'll stick with XP or whatever, right?
Oh boy.
So, you got that. So this is when I come in and I teach. I'm like, hey, this is not scary at all. Let me show you how cool this is. Let me show you all the stuff you can do, and where. And then they walk away with like, oh wow, okay, yeah, I can do this.
Yep.
So
It's definitely it seems to be a very smooth experience on Microsoft hardware.
yeah,
Like it just works. It seems like my friends that have non-Microsoft, like HPs and Dells and Lenovo's, that's when then the consumer side stuff, not the business class, that things just go weird
wonky
on them. Yeah, and they're like, it was working fine, and I'm like, well, support.microsoft.com. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So what else have you been working on? Anything interesting?
Just lots of SCOM related stuff, which brings me to this last thing that I want to bring to you. So back this fall, someone at Microsoft wrote an article, and I think they might have presented at Ignite. I missed this one, but the title of the article is "Stop Using LAN Manager and NTLM version 1" because it's a huge security risk. I mean, like really, really bad stuff happens when this is still enabled, and they go through a really simple process of disabling LAN Manager, making sure that your clients are working properly after you've done this and things like that. Well, what if you have a huge environment where you can only control aspects of certain of systems and stuff like that? How do you find out if you have a client on your network that is a customer of yours that consumes your Active Directory services? How do you make sure they're using the right protocols and stuff like that? Well, there was an article posted a few days ago about using SCOM to detect NTLM and LAN Manager authentication types, which is really useful when you want to audit what is actually in use on the network. So I thought that's brilliant, because before you just turned it off and you had to tell everybody stop using it, and if it broke, somebody would say something. But now you can be a little proactive if you have not gone through those steps and find out who's actually doing this. Is there anybody out there? And then you can kind of write some custom reports to pull out that information.
Oh, this is cool. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, I've been doing a lot of SCOM stuff as of late, and I love it. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
All right. All right. I guess I gotta pick your brain a bit on SCOM next time.
Yeah.
So I know you can do a
Still
lot of
learning.
stuff with it. I know I've heard of people where they use it with Active Directory, like when someone changes, their group membership or something like that, on their
Hmm.
accounts. Like they add the domain, oh, well, not to say domain admin, but they add like some other security group and stuff. And you can use SCOM to alert you and say, hey, there's a change to this.
Yep.
And I haven't done it yet, but I've heard of people doing stuff like that. So it's pretty
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah. I love it. It's helped catch pre-disk failures on some of the physical servers that we have, and things like that. Like, we've all of a sudden there'll be a disk that is just there's a lot of activity on the disk and it's just running slow. And just as SCOM says, hey, like, there's a high disk queue on this particular volume. And then you check it out, like, oh yeah, it's kind of running slow. Why is it doing that? You check the hardware information on the controller and then the drive, and it's like, oh, this thing is actually having some problems. And then you can before the thing fails, you can take action on it, which is what SCOM is for.
Ah,
So,
yes,
yep.
yes, yes. That is awesome. Huh. All right.
Cool.
And hey, did you hear about the lady who found a little baby snake in a kid's lunchbox in Australia?
No,
Oh
that's
boy.
disturbing.
So not only that it's a little baby snake, it's the brown snake, which is the second most poisonous snake in the world.
In the lunchbox of
So
wow.
apparently she was fixing the lunch for her kid, right? She's really starting to pack it. But under the lid, there's a little area, there's a little lip, right? Very thin little lip. And as she's packing it, she suddenly saw this little tiny little baby snake. And it's the brown snake. And she quickly shut the lid down, whatever, and then called whatever, the snake people.
Holy
And
cow.
they came out and they said, wow, you're lucky because even the baby snake is just as poisonous as an adult snake.
They're
Like,
sometimes worse because they don't know how to control the amount of venom that
right.
they're, and so they
So
just
she
like
was
keep,
lucky.
they
Oh my
latch on and they
God.
keep, oh my God, that's crazy. Thank goodness the mom saw that.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that's messed up.
My hair is just starting to stand up now.
Man, oh, I hate snakes. Hate them. Oh.
That should be some in your backyard.
No, we're pretty good here, because we're not close to any water. But like one of my coworkers isn't too far away. It's like less than a mile away, and he's like, "Yeah, I found a black snake in my garage." They
Oh.
like to hang out, and the thing with them is like they're so big, and they're black, and so they look terrifying. And I'm like, "Well, what did you do with it?" He's like, "Oh, I took it out, and I just took it out to the
How?
field." I don't want to know these things. It's not poisonous. They're not aggressive, I don't think. I don't know that if they're aggressive or not, but somehow he got it and he put it out into the field where it wouldn't bother them. But they just like, they will, if you leave your garage door open, they say don't leave your garage door open because certain kinds of snakes just like the nice quiet areas and stuff like
Oh
that. And I'm
my
like, oh my
God.
God, that's messed up. But yeah, we don't have that problem here, but we do have like some significant amount of spiders, tons of ants. It's like crazy the number of ants and lots of lizards. Like they are. I think at Ignite we. Oh yeah, we did. We saw lizards
Yeah.
at Ignite. There was like some in people's hotel rooms, and what's really interesting is there's these albino frogs that like roost above our door at during the day. They just hang out up there.
Okay.
What are you doing? Like that is such a strange place to be. They eat the wasps and stuff. So I'm like, okay, go at it, dude. Whatever. So,
Oh my God. All right, man. Uh, had anything good to eat or drink?
anything good or no, man? I've been trying to keep it healthy. Overnight
Very good.
oats in the morning, and vegetarian biryani from Trader Joe's for lunch, and then most of the time whatever is here at dinner. But on the weekends we definitely go a little stupid, like pizza or Five
Yeah,
Guys or.
we do too. Lately I've been I've been drinking a lot of water. I've been like, so I've just so I think that kind of keeping the hunger down a little bit more too, because
Yep.
it's.
Hmm.
So I noticed that I kind of lost like 9 pounds, which is nothing really. But
Cool.
it fluctuates. Sometimes it'll be like a pound or two above, and then a pound or two bottom. Things like that. But
Hmm.
overall, about 9-ish pounds. So, but next week's not going to be good because there's going to be a lot of
Beer.
beer. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, but I'll try to do a lot more walking, so that should
that's
help a
good.
bit.
Yeah, I like the overnight oats thing. And I just asked my wife like how much, because when I eat it, I have a rough time finishing it because it's like it feels like it's a lot. But then
Yeah.
she told me it's only half a cup of oatmeal.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? But it's the other added ingredients, and then the chia seeds make you think that you're full. And so,
Ah,
like just the other day, I actually ate it late, like around 10:30 or 11. I wasn't actually hungry for food until 4 o'clock, and I was
the
just
next
like, I'm not
day.
hungry. I'm not hungry. I'm not going to eat. I'm not hungry. I'm not going to eat. Then finally, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling hungry, but now it's time to go home. I'm not going to do that. So, yeah,
Right, right, right.
if you want a easy thing to eat for breakfast, make it the night before and just grab it on the way out and eat it in your office if you can do that. So,
Yeah. My one of my problems is I eat a lot of bananas. I'm a banana freak.
are you really?
Yeah, I eat a ton of bananas every day. Like my wife would be like, "Already? I just got you some." So yeah, because I don't have breakfast. I don't have like toast and things like that. And so when I go to work, I'll start off with a banana. And
Okay.
then maybe a granola bar, maybe an hour or two later or something like that. And then I'll have another banana. And then maybe a light lunch and, things like that. So I could easily go through like 3 bananas a day if I want to.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
There, there's a guy. His Twitter handle is Spud Fit. All he eats is potatoes.
What?
Yep,
Potatoes.
that's it. It. I don't know if he's still going, but the last time I checked, it was a year. All he was eating
Oh,
was potatoes. Yeah,
oh, okay.
but he lost a ton of weight. A lot of his health issues disappeared, and he actually was able to engage in some serious, rigorous physical activity, exercise, and things like that. And so I'm like, holy cow! I could not just eat potatoes.
That's,
Um,
oh, wow. Yeah,
yeah,
I couldn't do that.
but Spud Fit. I think Twitter and Instagram. I'm not sure. Maybe
I'll have to
both,
check it
maybe
out.
one or the other. But yeah.
Okay, okay.
So I couldn't do that. But anyway,
All right. Okay, man. I think we should end it.
sounds good.
So I'm Harjit, and you'll find me on Twitter as @Hoorge, Hoorge.
And I am on Twitter sometimes as IT Prayer.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Later.
Fork, fork, fork.